like episode 12, BB lays an egg. And you just say, okay, what happens in an episode where BB lays an egg? It's the idea of like, oh, you have this like really kind of dumb premise and you just kind of try and have to like figure out how it works somehow.
How you sort of think about that balance between like eerie, unsettling, horror. What's your kind of relationship to these like sort of genre markers, both in games, in your games, but maybe also outside of them in broader media as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I never really got into horror stuff before because I was too easily threatened by it.
Yeah, same here.
I guess it's funny. I always found like the funny kind of horror a lot more scary than the scary kind in a weird way. Like, especially when I actually sat down and watched the films I maybe have glimpsed as a child, they kind of seemed a lot less frightening to me with all the build-up than they did as kind of, you're watching a fragment of it on television and you have like a commercial break and then you have like the last 5 minutes of The Fly and you have this like horrible like, viscera, there's like slime, there's this creature that you barely glimpse for a half a second on this other TV, and then it goes back to the commercials and it's just like a lady like, really lusciously like eating a chocolate sweet, or like a newscaster being like, and now the news, in a very sedate, soothing voice. I feel like that threat of just like, there's this kind of like accepted kind of base sound and then there's kind of like absolutely this thing that you almost feel like, oh, I can't look at this because it'll destroy me in some way if I get a side of this. It's just kind of like always there and it's just going to bust in at any moment without expecting. I think that was a lot more scary to me. I think, yeah, it was more just specifically to horror comic artists. I think is kind of like a way of getting into horror narratives without being as immediately scared by them and maybe appreciating more like the ways in which they're able to like, be they're kind of like a little more surreal or like a would mix like genre and odd narratives in an odd way.
Yeah.
I think to me like the scariest thing is still, I don't know. I had a scary nightmare when I was a kid about like I had imprisoned this kind of demon creature in like a little box and it was talking to me and there was a sense of like, I was like arguing with it because I couldn't hold it down together and it's like, oh, if you let me out, I'll be nice to you. If you let me out, I won't kill everyone in your family. And I was like, oh, I can't trust this guy. But at the same time, I had to let it out. Eventually, you're trying to negotiate. You're trying to find some like awkward, like set of ways you can trick it. And it's kind of like that slightly comical aspect to just kind of like, the kind of like the mundane aspect to just like, oh, how do I find the workaround for like trying to convince this entity not to kill me? That was always like more exciting to me, I guess, than just kind of like the, absolute fear, absolute terror at all times, being chased. I guess my pet peeve in horror game designs when, they don't only always have the masked figure with the knife, they have the masked figure with the knife and he's covered in blood so that he's scary. Because if he wasn't covered in blood, the guy with a knife is chasing you, run off, and he has to be really big and muscular as well. And he has to have like, he has to have a weird fucked up looking mask because if it was a regular mask, he was chasing you and then it wouldn't be scary. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, no, that, I mean, yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, it's interesting with BB, like in the world we've constructed, where like death is both like a very serious thing because the characters take it seriously, but BB also seems like generally pretty bemused by like how many people are being like killed like in town. You do sort of have this juxtaposition between like sort of the horror of the thing, but then also this kind of like joking, sort of like laughing approach to not take it like quite so seriously. I have a hard time like tonally, again, just maybe because I really don't watch much horror myself, because I feel like right now like the horror is it's a very serious genre right now. In a lot of ways, either making like it's maybe like making like an explicit like a political statement, right? It's a way to kind of like and to talk about maybe some things about the way that like talk about things like gender or race in a way that is in some ways less serious because it's in a horror context, but also very serious because it's like horror.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, I think from an artistic point of view, I just feel like horror is also in this place where it's like it's this very serious, very, very serious thing. So I had a hard time like kind of like placing the tone for Anatomy of the Killer compared to other things kind of like out there. Do you see other like parallels for you tonally between like the way the characters in your world sort of approach their like potential doom with like kind of like a smile and a nod? Because I had a hard time kind of like placing it in other